Color Guard, present the colors.
Detail up. Right face. Detail. Preset. Arms. Both colors. Turn formation. Rifle squad. Forward arms. Right face. Forward march.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mayor, distinguished guests, and members of the Martin family, I am proud to officially welcome you to the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal at the Dubuque Regional Airport. We are here today to pay tribute to an all-American hero, a Dubuque kid who went on to help bring definition and meaning to the phrase, the greatest generation. It is fitting we rename this terminal after Captain Martin, who learned why the birds sing when he went on his first airplane ride over the skies of Dubuque at a local air show at a very young age. We will hear more about the heroic life and times of Captain Martin here this evening. One may ask, what makes a hero? The answer, I believe, is one's content of character. Robert Martin had character. Character that comes from receiving a solid education and having strong role models in your life to help shape that character. Robert Martin had plenty of role models growing up in his hometown of Dubuque, the first and most influential role models being the memory of his departed mother, Maddie, his stepmother, Dorothy, and his father, Dr. Henry Martin. Dr. Henry Martin is a glowing example of an individual rising above their circumstance to achieve the American dream for himself and his posterity through education, determination, and hard work. Henry Martin always said, get an education. It is the one thing they cannot take away from you. Martin worked to make sure every one of his 9 children had a solid education, providing the platform for them to live their American dream. With a family model like failure is not an option, how can you not succeed? Seeing and having met several of the Martin family members, not only was it a family model, I think it's in their DNA. Other role models in Robert Martin's life included the pastors and congregation at the local AME church the Martins belonged to, other adult professionals in the community like the Edward Martin and Dr. Henry Rose families, and of course, Robert's big brother, Henry Martin Jr., known as Hank. As we honor Captain Robert Martin here today, let us also remember Ensign Henry Martin Jr., who along with Robert proudly served their nation during World War II. It is believed the Dr. Henry Martin family of Dubuque was the only African-American family with 2 officers in military service at the same time during World War II. Hank in the Navy and Bob in the Army Air Corps. You may sit, yeah. Sorry. I never met Robert Martin, but I did have the pleasure of seeing him speak in Dubuque on April 26, 2000, with General Paul Tibbets of the Enola Gay fame and Elizabeth Strophus, a woman's Army service pilot trainer. I remember telling Captain Martin's daughter, Gabrielle, how uneasy her father seemed when speaking about himself, as though he couldn't understand why everyone would want to make a fuss over him. He was also deeply reflective and cautious in the words he chose when speaking about his experiences, and did not want to appear boastful, although it was clear he was proud of his part in saving the world from tyranny. He and his generation have every right to be proud of what they did, and our generation must not forget what they did, so the ideals of liberty and freedom for all people continues to have a chance in this world. That is why it is fitting we are here today, among Captain Martin's family and friends, to dedicate this terminal to a man more than deserving of this honor. And so, on with the program. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the chairperson of the Dubuque Regional Airport, Michael Phillips.
Yikes. Good morning, or good evening, everyone. I'm Michael Phillips, chairperson of the Dubuque Regional Airport. We're here today to recognize the remarkable service of Captain Robert Martin. He spent his life overcoming racial barriers, giving back to his country through extraordinary military service and public service. At the beginning of World War II, because of their race, black pilots were not allowed to serve their country as military pilots. President Roosevelt approved a law for the expansion of the Army Air Corps. One section of that law allowed black applicants into the Air Corps training program. These pilots proved their ability to triumph over adversity and go down in history as extremely skilled pilots, not only proving their worth, but inspiring future generations to rise above their own obstacles to achieve success. I'm going fast forward a little bit here to 1998. A group of high school students became aware of the Tuskegee Airmen. Educators John Adelman and Tim Ebeling developed a curriculum to teach students about World War II, and the topic chosen was the Tuskegee Airmen. Students participating in the research project not only learned about the Tuskegee Airmen, but they discovered Tuskegee Airman Captain Robert Martin was born and raised in Dubuque, Iowa. He attended Washington Junior High, graduated from Dubuque Senior High School. He also participated in Boy Scouts despite threats and backlash from fellow Scouts' parents. It was while he was a Boy Scout and was inspired to become a pilot after attending an air show. In 2019, as part of the Fly Dubuque campaign, a policy was approved by the Airport Commission which recognizes contributions of individuals or organizations that have influenced aviation in the tri-state area. 1 year later, Donnell Gordon filed an application to name the Dubuque Regional Airport's terminal after Captain Martin. That application was reviewed and unanimously approved by Dubuque's Airport Commission. A combination of working together, fundraising, community support has brought us to this moment, a time to recognize and celebrate Captain Martin's legacy. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the Honorable Mayor of the City of Dubuque, Brad Kavanaugh.
Look at all the people here today. Just look around, look at the crowd that this drew. This is amazing. You know, there are some days that I am especially proud to be a Dubuquer, and this is one of those days. It really is. So thank you everyone for being here. So thank you. Well, as John mentioned, I am Brad Kavanaugh. I have the honor of serving as the mayor of this great city. And on behalf of the City Council, some of whom are here today with us, some of my colleagues, and as well as the City of Dubuque staff and all the residents of Dubuque, I want to welcome you here today. And thank you so much for being here for this very important occasion. You know, Dubuque really has a long history of honoring our heroes. We have just a beautiful Veterans Memorial Plaza, and that Veterans Memorial Plaza is actually located on Chaplain Schmidt Island, Chaplain Aloysius Schmidt, who died in Pearl Harbor. We recently, just on this airport campus, dedicated another building here, the U.S. Army Reserve Center, just last week for a local hero named Specialist Ronald Renison. And now today, we gather to dedicate this space to another local hero, Captain Robert L. Martin. And I love hearing the stories about Captain Martin, from his family and from everyone else who's had a chance to share these stories. And it's great that we are able to celebrate that history. As we do this today, though, I'm reminded that it's not just about the history. It's not just about celebrating that and memories. It's also about leaving a gift for the next generation. And that's exactly what this terminal will do. We're going to have students from the Dubuque Community School District. We're going to have travelers coming through this airport. We're going to have pilots who are, or students who are learning to be pilots at our University of Dubuque, all coming through here and seeing the legacy that was left by Captain Martin. And they'll be dreaming of leaving a legacy of their own someday. And that's really thanks to a true grassroots community effort. So before I go, I want to make sure that I say thank you to Donnell Gordon and everybody else who really put this together. This was a true grassroots effort that started with phone calls and a desire to do something, and the community came together, sold this idea, very easily I might add, to the City Council and the Airport Commission in saying, you know what, this is something we need to do. We have a local hero and this needs to be named in his memory, and I'm so glad that you did. So thank you very much for all that you've done, and thank you for being here today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Molly Grover, President and CEO of the Dubuque Area Chamber of Commerce, regrets she could not be here this evening. She has sent the following remarks I wish to convey on her behalf. The Chamber is thrilled to be a part of the ceremony to rename this terminal after Captain Robert L. Martin. As a trailblazing member of the Armed Services and the famed Tuskegee Airmen, we all owe a debt of gratitude to Captain Martin and his fellow service members who fought to guarantee the freedom we all enjoy today. It's no surprise that a son of Dubuque could rise to such heights, and we're privileged to help memorialize this terminal in his honor here today. The Chamber would also like to thank its travel partners, including the Dubuque Regional Airport, for its partnership with the Area Chamber and our collective efforts to make the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal a gateway for the local public, tri-state tourism, and area businesses to interact with the rest of the world. Congratulations to the Martin family for this wonderful honor. Thank you, Molly. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium the President and CEO of the Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, Rick Dickinson.
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor, members of the Airport Commission, but most especially the family of Captain Martin. Thank you for the privilege of being here in your presence today. On behalf of the Board of Directors, investors, and staff at Greater Dubuque Development Corporation, I want to thank the Martin family for sharing the gift of your honored ancestor's name to this facility. 1.2 million African American men fought in World War II to make the world free for democracy. While at home, they were treated as second-class citizens. Jim Crow was alive prior to World War II, during the war, and after. No one that looks like me can ever understand what Captain Martin had to overcome to achieve his greatness. But we do know that he did overcome, and we honor that greatness today. It is befitting that this beautiful terminal now bears this great man's name, perhaps one of the most beautiful airports in the United States of America. Sadly, we were informed a few weeks ago that commercial air service will be discontinued at the Dubuque Captain Martin Terminal, effective September 7th. We must not let that stand. We must not take that as a given, although it pales in comparison to what Captain Martin did and lived. It's up to us as a community to make sure that this beautiful facility that bears his name is once again a commercial terminal. That after September 7th, we join arms with those other communities, rural areas around the United States of America that have lost their commercial air service. At a time when this nation provided over $50 billion to the commercial airline industry during the pandemic, that amounts to $150 for every man, woman, and child in America, $15 million alone, the responsibility of the citizens of Dubuque County for that bailout, to be rewarded with the termination of commercial service, cannot, must not stand. We owe it to the regional economy in Dubuque, but now, perhaps most importantly, we owe it to Captain Martin and his namesake. Thank you to all of you for being here. May God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium President and CEO of Travel Dubuque, Keith Ray.
Thank you, everyone. I would just like to second that. I'd like to express my gratitude and what an honor it is to be here this evening for Captain Martin and for his family. I'm a history buff, so to speak. World War II is one of the times in history that I followed, and what those individuals went through to make sure that our world is a safe place to live is tremendous. I'm here this evening to talk some about tourism and what the airport has meant to Dubuque and our region. It's significant. I'm head of tourism for Dubuque and Dubuque County, and we've seen the growth for our area through the last 20, 25 years. This airport, this terminal, has been a significant part of that. And I would just echo what Rick said. You know, we need to be able to, going forward, be able to get the commercial service back here, hopefully not just one airline, but 2 airlines, so we can go to different parts of the United States. But with that being said, we are blessed to have a significant amount of activity here at the airport through the years on a variety of different events, not only the commercial traffic that comes and goes on a daily basis, but the private jets. For instance, last year, when we hosted the Chicago White Sox and New York Yankees, we had over 55 private jets plus the Yankees and White Sox and their commercial jets that were here and came in that day. This year, on August 11th, when the Chicago Cubs and Cincinnati Reds play, we're going to be even more than that. And the big commercial jets, there'll be 8 of those here. So as you can see, we continue to evolve, we continue to grow as an area, and this terminal, this airport is a significant part of that. So once again, I'd like to thank you very much to the Martin family for being here this evening, and for all of you also. This is quite an honor. For now, when we represent, when we market, we'll be marking the Captain Robert Martin Airport. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Martin family would like to show their appreciation by recognizing some key individuals who played critical roles in getting us here today. Please give a warm Dubuque welcome to Donnell Gordon, Dominique Martin, and Chris Martin Epstein.
Thank you for everyone for being here. This is 2 years in the making, so I'm overwhelmed. I was born in the Quad Cities, just down the river from here, and lived there until I was 10 years old, and then returned there for a couple years in my 20s. And there's a town there, Silvis, Illinois, that decided to honor several first-generation Mexican-American young men who lost their lives in combat in World War II and the Korean War. I'm a third-generation Mexican-American, and I grew up seeing these young men honored despite being from a marginalized community. They served and sacrificed for this country just as many other marginalized communities or marginalized groups have throughout US history, and continue to do so while not always receiving recognition for it. My family has had several generations serve in the military and in every combat since my ancestors arrived over 100 years ago. And I think this recognition at Hero Street and Silva's has contributed to reasons why my family continues to serve in the military and serve this country. I've grown up witnessing the impact that these public displays of honor have on our community, on our youth, as a source of pride. And I want my sons to learn this history, their legacy, and the resilience, whether it be their own family story or Captain Robert Martin's and the Tuskegee Airmen. And I want the Dubuque community to learn a similar source of pride with Captain Martin's story. We can all learn from their stories as long as we continue to tell their stories. This is why we need to honor those who have served, whose stories haven't historically been recognized. So, and that's part of my motivation for wanting to have this airport named after Captain Martin. Thank you all here for supporting this project. I've been overcome with the amount of support that's been shown in this community and across Iowa. If we were fundraising at a different time, I think we would have raised the funds much quicker than what we did. But if everyone's patience, we succeeded in two years. I don't want to end my time up here without first thanking some very important people. First, I want to thank my family. My sons, Gavin and Ryder, thank you. Thank you for tolerating pizza every Thursday night for dinner. Not only have you lived through this pandemic like other children, you've had two parents working in healthcare during it all, and me working on this project. You've not once complained about my attention being spent elsewhere, and you have enthusiastically supported it all along. So thank you. We did it. And my mother, Kathy Vargas, thank you for always teaching me our family story and introducing me to Hero Street when I was a kid. Thank you for coming over to cook us dinner when you finally could. So when I was sick of pizza. And you could help the boys with their homework and spend time with them. So I appreciate you. I want to give a special recognition to Mr. Ray Owensby, a Dubuque veteran, who encouraged me to pursue this project. Thank you for your service to our country, to this community, and to this project. I don't know if you're here. I want to thank the airport who supported this project enthusiastically from day one. The city, the county, folks, everyone has, from very early on, there has not been any pushback and nothing but support. Lastly, I want to special thank you to the members of the Captain Robert L. Martin Commemoration Committee. Please stand. We have some people that have worked so hard they have not been able to make it tonight. So, but here today is Dominique Martin and Chris Martin Epstein. Thank you. Not RRS Stewart has missed this tonight. She was a wonderful source of knowledge and an asset. I don't know what we would have done without her. Dubuque is lucky to have such a dedicated and selfless person trying to make the world and Dubuque better. I know she'll continue to do great things here, and thank you to the Dubuque NAACP for all your assistance in providing countless hours and helping and lending her leadership especially. Another member that was unable to make it because she is stuck in Jamaica when she got her flight was overbooked. She displayed, she contributed wonderful passion and sharing her vision of this project as well. Ryan Byrne, who is unfortunately also not here, which we knew ahead of time because he had moved from the area. But, and Chris, Dominique, and Gabrielle Martin, I've gotten to know your dad and uncle through your stories and through knowing you. I can see he was a beautiful, humble, genius, and selfless man that has made sure to pass those attributes on. These traits are his legacy that shine, and it exudes from you. I know, and I know he's very proud of you both. Thank you for introducing me to the rest of your family as well. They welcomed me with open arms, and thank you again for allowing this project and recognizing that Dubuque needs this story as well. So please come up to the podium, and Dominique has some words.
Donnell, on behalf of the Martin family, I wanted to present this token, mere token of our immense appreciation for all of your efforts and all of your hard work on this. And what this says is Vision to Reality, the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal, dedicated July 19, 2022. The Martin family applauds Donnell Gordon. We actually have an additional version for the other committee members, and Chris, you're the only one here, but again, Vision to Reality, the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal, dedicated July 19th, 2022. The Martin family applauds Chris Epstein.
Thank you.
Okay. This is, okay, I will bring the others.
And we have some other tokens of appreciation for those that have been instrumental in this project. We have this appreciation for the Office of the Airport Director of the Dubuque Regional Airport. And would Todd please come up? Todd Delsing, thank you. And for the Dubuque Regional Airport Commission, would Mr. Mike Phillips, will you please come up? To recognize your efforts and support for the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal at Dubuque Regional Airport from the Captain Robert L. Martin Commemoration Committee. Thank you very much. Thank you. For the University of Dubuque faculty, staff, and volunteers, we'd like to recognize your efforts and support for the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal at Dubuque Regional Airport from the Captain Robert L. Martin Commemoration Committee. Will someone from University of Dubuque please come up? Who's here? Is it Tom? There's Tom Robbins with the Heritage Center. Thank you for your support. I didn't know if you were here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, the Dubuque branch NAACP would like to recognize your efforts and support for the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal at Dubuque Regional Airport from the Captain Robert L. Martin Commemoration Committee. Mr. Anthony Allen, please come up. And Dominique will come back up here.
My sister Gabrielle was so looking forward to spending this evening with you. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it, but she did ask me to read her speech. I do so with great pleasure. I'm just going to read it. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight, we honor a hometown hero. Take a moment to recognize the empty chairs. They are in honor of my brother, Robert Jr., Captain Martin's only son, who passed away in 2020, all of the Tuskegee Airmen who have passed on before, and Odette Martin, his wife of 68 years, who passed in 2019. Later on, take a look at the donor list in your program. The family extends our thanks to this extensive and expansive village. Without the support of each of you, we might not be here. Tonight we celebrate Robert's triumph over adversity, a story that begins here in Dubuque in February of 1919. His parents knew that as a black child he would face adversity, discrimination, and other challenges, but they did not know what he would achieve despite them. But they shaped his life. They instilled the family motto, failure is not an option. They also taught him to pursue excellence and get an education. Once he had it, no one could take it from him. Robert became a lone scout to learn and earn merit badges, as no troop would have him. As a 13-year-old lone scout, he worked at the local air show. You've heard about he convinced his father to buy him an airplane ride. Exhilarated, he watched as the pilot operated the plane. Hooked, he dreamed of flying himself. During college, although Robert could not live in the dorms, he pushed ahead, striving for excellence in his studies, steadfast in his pursuit of a license to fly. During his junior year, he earned a private pilot's license. By graduation, World War II was raging. Word of the Army Air Corps flight experiment had spread. He applied, tested well, and was accepted. With his degree in electrical engineering and his pilot's license, he was determined to prove that black men could be successful combat fighter pilots, even though there were those who wanted the experiment to fail. While awaiting orders to report to Tuskegee, Robert fought with the U.S. Army. He was inducted, but then released, and was able to report to Tuskegee in 1943, where he faced obstacles meant to demean and cause failure. He faced things like being moved to the rear of the train as he headed south to Tuskegee. He would train on different planes at different bases with the threat of washout looming. The airmen used secondhand airplanes and trained at bases in the north where weather conditions impacted flight time, transferred to different bases in the south to remind him he was not good enough. Poorly stocked commissaries and a lack of access to swimming pools or clubs was common for the black airmen, yet Robert remained steadfast. He continued to learn everything he could. On January 7, 1944, his wings were pen. Officially, he was a fighter pilot. Assigned overseas to Ramitelli Air Base in Italy, he flew missions with the 100th Fighter Squadron, part of the renowned 332nd, the Red Tails. On March 3, 1945, Robert volunteered for a mission. While strafing over Zagreb, Yugoslavia, his plane was hit by enemy ground fire. He noticed flames shooting around the cockpit. Time to bail out. He would neither fry nor fail. Although he tried to bail out, his parachute strap was caught in the plane. Half in, half out, ravaged by winds, he had to fight his way back into the burning plane, right the plane, regain altitude, free the parachute strap, and then roll over again, and was able to bail out. Yeah. During the 5 weeks he was missing, Robert was first aided by a partisan boy who called him an American. Other partisans and allies at an English mission at Dubuque, Yugoslavia, also provided assistance. He returned to Ramitelli on April 8th of 1945. Shortly after his return to Ramitelli, it was VE Day, and Robert received orders to return home. Among his service medals, a Distinguished Flying Cross for bravery while engaged with the enemy during an aerial mission, although he told me it's because he volunteered for so many missions. He was such an eager pilot. But I'm reading my sister's speech. A Purple Heart for the blood he shed for this country. An air medal with oak leaf clusters representing the 64 times that he climbed into his plane in defense of this country. Despite success fighting for his country overseas, Captain Martin continued to face racism and discrimination when he returned home. With his degree and his war record in hand, he fought to land a job as an electrical engineer. Later, despite his work record, a professional engineer's license, and certificates in computer programming, he had to fight for promotions. He also fought for decent housing and paved alleys. He fought for neighborhood playgrounds with programs and equipment, access to swimming pools in the summer, and a neighborhood school. Neighborhood children should not have to traverse a hostile white neighborhood to get an education. He also fought against predatory lending practices. Robert was also steadfast in his determination to preserve the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen. Beginning in the early 1950s, he donated countless hours to help found and support both the Chicago Dodo chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen and the national organization. He worked with youth and chaired scholarship fundraising efforts for high school students with dreams of careers in aviation. He worked to have part of a Chicago area highway named after the Tuskegee Airmen. He worked to secure access to a local airport so Chicago area youth are able to take a free flight sponsored by the Chicago chapter and the Young Eagles. A member of the chapter speaker bureau, he helped educate the public. One project involving youth was of particular importance to him. Captain Martin described it. I was able to work with students from the Dubuque Central Alternative High School. The students were working on a history project about the Tuskegee Airmen. These students were labeled and likely would continue to face challenges. I understood their plight and wanted to help. At the students' request, I visited Dubuque to meet with them and share my story and experiences. I hope that the students learned that adversity did not have to prevent them from reaching their goals. I was their living example. So as we celebrate tonight in the Captain Robert L. Martin Terminal, we know that Robert was able to achieve many goals and he received many honors and awards in his lifetime. Yet, ever humble, He remained steadfast, pursued excellence, and never wavered in the face of diversity. Adversity, sorry. Sorry, bunny. Other recognitions include attendance at the Congressional Gold Medal ceremony honoring the collective Tuskegee Airmen, the June 10th, 2013 Congressional Record Entry, the 2019 Captain Robert L. Martin Post Office naming in Olympia Fields, Illinois. And the family hopes that this terminal remains a monument to Robert's pursuit of excellence and steadfast triumph over adversity. Specifically, we hope that all are inspired to learn more about the legacy and achievements of the Tuskegee Airmen. We also hope that all are inspired to pursue inclusivity. And finally, we hope that the story of Captain Robert L. Martin inspires all of us to remain steadfast, to pursue excellence, and to triumph despite adversity. Thank you.
Thank you, Donnell, Dominique, and Chris, and everybody else that has spoken here. Next, we're going to move on to the final two stages of the program here. Oh, I'm sorry. Sure, feel free.
Good evening. There are so many of you who are here, and we certainly appreciate your presence. Our entire family couldn't be here, and so we did a live stream. So I'd like to recognize the family members who are here, if you will please rise, and to recognize our siblings, cousins, nieces and nephews, and dear, dear family friends who are watching us live via live stream presentation. For the Tuskegee Airmen, the legend continues. They are the 332nd Air Expeditionary Wing, United States Air Force, permanently stationed overseas. We received comments from Commander Brigadier General Christopher S. Sage, United States Air Force, who's the commander of this particular group. When your friends, neighbors, nieces, cousins served with the Air National Guard, sometimes when they were deployed overseas, they were attached to the 332nd Fighter Group. So Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota have all sent their units, and they may have been attached to this group. So they do live on. And the Brigadier General said, to the citizens of Dubuque, Iowa, the life and service of Robert L. Martin is a reflection of the legacy of excellence commiserate with the Tuskegee name. You do not need to dig far into Captain Martin's records to find justification to honor his legacy. His service with the Tuskegee Airmen and rapid reaction after being struck by enemy fire during World War II, placing him behind enemy lines, solidified his place in history. Captain Martin's selfless service to our great nation is a testament to his character and is part of the foundation on which today's airmen fulfill their military service. For the last 80 years, the 332nd has not faltered in its call to defend our great nation. Our airmen continue to carry on the Tuskegee legacy by upholding one another and striving for excellence as set forth by our revered predecessors. The 332nd has transformed over the decades to the 332nd Air Expeditionary Wing. This unit carries on the legacy of Captain Martin and his Tuskegee Airmen brethren by upholding the red tail standard of excellence. We are proud of our heritage and use it as a guidepost in our determination to answer our nation's call. The 332nd's mission is to generate, execute, and sustain combat air power in support of Air Forces Central and United States Central Command. Our vision is to be warfighters who lead fearlessly and seize combat initiative to win the fight today and tomorrow, and to build on the legacy of the Red Tails. We are honored to have been a part in recognizing the heroic service of Captain Martin. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to express my appreciation, not only for Captain Martin, but for all the airmen. Christopher S. Sage, Brigadier General.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for those able, please stand and remove your cover. Color guard, retire the colors.
Detail, head touch. Forward arm. Right face. Forward march. Detail, pump. Right face. Read the color. Turn to formation. Detail, forward arm. Right face. Forward march.
All right, at this time, you can all be seated. I won't make you stand this time. All right, at this time, I'd like to invite up the Martin family members and the VIPs who are going to be participating in the official ribbon cutting ceremonies here in front of the plaque to my right.